Well, I know most of you know this one. So get up off those seats and join us as we say Happy Father's Day.
पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा, बेटा हमारा ऐसा काम करेगा, मगर ये तो कोई न जाने कि मेरे मंजिल है कहाँ। पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम करेगा। सब यारे अपने सबके दिलों में अरमाए हैं। देखी है मिलती सब यारे अपने सबके दिलों में अरमाए हैं। तो जिंदगी में तो क्या बनेगा, हर एक नजर था सपनाए हैं। कोई इंजीनियर का काम करेगा, बिजनेस में कोई अपना नाम करेगा, मगर ये तो कोई न जाने कि मेरे मंजिल है कहाँ। पापा कहती है बड़ा नाम करेगा।
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you, so call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Margaret's, we have to gather round, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Ben's cap the on the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and on the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal them. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskap, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskap, radio station is the truth. Mark Benskap, straight up from the root. Mark Benskap, who tell.
All right. Hey, guess what? Good evening. It's 9 minutes after 9 o'clock. My name is Mark Benshap. Thank you so much for sharing the link. And so we are going to rock and roll. We have a couple of folks who should be joining us. And when they do join us, we will be discussing local government elections and other stuff. Other stuff we will be discussing. We have the PPP on the ropes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. No ifs, ands, or buts about that at all. Sorry about that. No ifs, ands, or buts about that at all. They are on the ropes. Are on the ropes. Yep. Sorry about that. That they are on the ropes. Are on the ropes. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. And you guys know that they are struggling. They are punishing, and they are just grabbing folks. They are grabbing folks, paying a couple of dollars. There's no question about that. Forget about what Irfan Ali is saying. Irfan Ali issued a statement earlier denying that they are paying people. They are paying people. That's it. But before we get into all of that, again, let me just welcome you guys to 107.1 FM. Good night again. These two, one is the acting chancellor of the judiciary. The other one is the acting chief justice. I do believe that a decision will be rendered tomorrow. And so we will, sometime maybe around 11 o'clock, I believe, we will carry this, that decision as to whether the PPP, because they want to ignore the constitutional format and all these different things. So tomorrow this decision will be made public. Actually, they will render the decision. And maybe after that we can get into interviewing Roysdale Ford, senior counsel and also member of parliament, because he is the defense lawyer in this case. So it's a pretty interesting case we'll get at. But they have other things we want to talk about. And definitely, we just say good evening again and welcome to Straight Up. We're going to rock and roll. We're not dealing with emotions and these sort of things, because people getting ticklish and emotional and all manner of things, and then they utter ignoramus things, who know who and who get things from who, and little boy childish stuff that the truth of the matter is the local government elections are around the corner, and we must be able to get the people out there to vote, because if they don't go out to vote, it simply means that the PPP, the corrupt PPP regime, will control Georgetown, they will control Linden, they will control New Amsterdam. And then that's another set of fight. It's another set of struggle. It's another set of stupidity. Why put a heavy burden on yourself when you can avoid it? The struggle is on. The struggle is on, yes, but it doesn't mean that we are not going to persevere. It doesn't mean that we wouldn't be victorious. We got to maintain Georgetown. Forget about what these Nimakarams who jump ship, good at jumping ship. Jumping ship in 2023 means something totally different, but maybe the same, mind you, maybe the same. And so they're jumping ship for a couple pieces of shillings. It doesn't mean that the PPP, Jack Dale and Irfan and them respect these people. They just don't. It is the fact. They just don't. Now, I want to talk to everybody. We have some folks who will be coming on, but I want to be able to talk to everybody. I understand the people. I understand the people. The people at Port Morant have serious problems with the PPP. The people at Monrepo, not necessarily all, but a lot of PPP supporters have problems with the PPP. They are of the view that the PPP is not doing enough or nothing close to satisfying their needs as to why they voted for the PPP. So, for the local government elections, and as we are dealing with that right now, the PPP is in serious trouble. Don't be fooled by this so called red wave. There's no red wave. There's just a bunch of, photo enlargement and to make the crowd look a little bigger by positioning the camera where you may have a little more red over green and those childish stuff. Those childish stuff. You know what I mean? Childish. Look, the crapo already out. They're getting vexed. They don't want to hear that the PPP is divided. The PPP is divided. Prasad, David, whatever name you get, the PPP is divided. Do not be fooled. Do not be fooled. The PPP is divided. The PPP is so corrupt that some of the so-called ministers are on the watch list for certain law enforcement agencies, international law enforcement agencies. Prasad David, or whatever the heck your name is, you want us to talk about that? You want us to remind you guys, you, Prasad David, and others who might be tempted to come with stupidity, but this is one show we don't tolerate stupidity at all. Our operator, Lemon, just make sure that you guys are in the trenches. Stay right there. Now, do you guys know why Irfan Ali, or do you remember that Irfan Ali, apart from his 19 fraud charges, that he was blocked from entering Canada? He promised you guys, right? The same Irfan Ali promised you guys that he was going to tell you why the Canadians blocked him. Well, I know some of them going to jump up and say, oh, well, he went to Canada twice already. He went to Canada twice already. That's besides the point. He's now, quote unquote, head of state. And according to the United Nations Charter, some convention, that they allow head of state to go into countries and you do not arrest them. So that's basically what it is. It doesn't mean that Irfan Ali, after he's no longer head of state, which will be at the next general elections, he's done. He's gone, right? He's done. He's gone. It doesn't mean that he's going to be allowed into Canada. Because remember, it is Irfan Ali who said he was going to tell you why Canada, blocked his visa, why he was blocked. He's not going to want to tell you that maybe there's a possibility that he allegedly owns some restaurant in Canada and there is some talk about money laundering. He's not going to want to tell you guys that. And neither am I saying that. But I'm saying if that's the case, he's not going to want to come and tell you guys like he has promised. He promised to tell you guys just that. He never did. He doesn't want to talk to you guys about that because he doesn't want you guys to know that there is a possibility that he was blocked from entering Canada as a result of money laundering. Now, put two and two together. Just put two and two together. I don't know what's happening, but sorry about that. Yeah, so just put two and two together. So don't hop up on this show and try to big up your chest. Don't hop up on this show and try to big up your chest at all. Don't do that because we're not gonna tolerate that. So I want us to go Port Morant, wherever it is, Port Morant. Let's address Terry now. Terry is coming in a nice, respectful manner. Not everyone who disagrees with us, we're gonna lose the donkey on them, or we're not gonna do that. So Terry's laughing. Terry knows why he's laughing. Terry Bastian. Hey, Terry Bastian says, ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha, right? That's Terry. Terry's saying ha 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 ha. What else you expect Terry to say? Hear what Terry's saying here now. Show us the evidence, Mark, so we can believe. I am telling you guys, this, Terry, and all the other folks who are watching or listening, that Irfan Ali, remember now it's no rumor, right? This is not a rumor. Irfan Ali was actually blocked from entering Canada. He was on his way to Canada when he was stopped while he was at the airport. He was blocked while he was at the airport. He couldn't travel to Canada. Irfan Ali promised you guys that he was going to tell you, all of you, why he was blocked by the Canadians. He never did. He never did. So I am saying to you, Terry, and let Irfan Ali challenge this. Let him deny it. That he was blocked, according to a source, that is, he was blocked because Irfan Ali is allegedly under investigations in Canada for money laundering. Simple as that. If that is not true, then let him come out and deny it. That he probably was and probably still is under investigations, allegedly, according to a source, for money laundering. That is why his visa was blocked. That is why he was blocked from entering Canada. Let him come out and say that. It is not for me to show the evidence, Terry Bastian. Oh, don't do this to yourself, bro. Just enjoy your bowling. Enjoy your bowling. You seem very, very, very good at holding the bowling ball. Just enjoy your bowling. I like bowling too. And no, that's all, Terry, I wish to say, unless you have anything further to add to that. But let us get back to our regular programming, right? And good evening again to all of you. My name is Mark Benshaw. Local government elections around the corner. Local government elections around the corner. The PPP wants to, or they're putting up this front as though they have support throughout the country. That is not true. They are in trouble. They are in serious trouble. That's why I want us to walk all over Guyana in every community. And we want to embrace everyone, including the PPP supporters who are upset at the PPP. They are upset with Irfan Ali and Barrett Jack. They are upset. They're not coming out to tell you that. They don't want to come out and tell you that because you know how vindictive the PPP regime, how Jack Deere, especially Jack Deere, and don't be fooled, Irfan Ali is vindictive too, you know. Don't be fooled by the smile and all them kind of things. That he is very vindictive. He is mean-spirited. Look, let me give you guys an example. Watch how we just behave. Watch. Look at the hand, the antics. Look. Y'all saw the hand antics, right? There's always a reason for hand antics. That's why you see me when I'm on my show, my hands are like right here. You know, you don't see me flinging here, flinging. Not me at all, right? That's okay. It has the people, and I'm not knocking those people who fling their hand here and there. Certainly not. But coming up shortly, we have a couple of people. We want to talk about local government elections, all these things we want to talk about. Claudette Allen, good evening to you. Good evening to all the folks out in New Amsterdam. Don't be fooled, guys. New Amsterdam is going to remain intact. Linden is going to remain intact. Georgetown, the same. Bartik and so forth. And we've got to be able to capture Corriverton and Rosal. It's a mess. It's a mess. Corriverton and Rosal, it's a mess. The mayor of Corriverton resigned. The mayor of Rosal, upon their stupidness, they're not governing. They're not giving the people what they want. They're ill-treating people. And the people of Corriverton and Rosal deserve better. They deserve a better mayor. That is why the PPP, those PPP, we got to regain control of those two towns, Corriverton and Rosal. It's a mess. If you think of Those of you who are from Corriverton, say something. Those of you who are from Rosal, say something. If I'm lying, just whistle. That's all. And I am almost certain that all of you know that I'm not lying at all. All right, so here what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this nicely. We're gonna share the link too, right? We are gonna share the link. You guys gonna continue to share the link. We're going straight over to folks, and this is my area too, Port Moran, Roop Mahal Cinema, right opposite Port Moran Hospital. For those of you who don't know quarantine so well, Blackbush Polar, My Be Curious, Behold, and Johan, and all those places. I want to welcome all of our listeners because I know we have listeners throughout the length and breadth of Guyana. Blackbush Polar, especially, to a lot of those guys are rice farmers. They do listen. Good evening to those rice farmers. Good evening to the folks out in Port Morant, the folks out at Eversham, Philippi, all over. Good evening to you guys. I want to welcome everyone because the PVP supporters are upset. Many of them are upset. And so while we continue to share the link, I want to play a song, and I want to dedicate it to all of our those folks out in Port Morant, Might Be Curie, and so forth and so on, because that is how we're going to win this local government elections. The campaign has already started. We are doing our best here. Hopefully those guys on the ground can do something other than bicker and bicker and bicker and bicker, and who party bigger than who party, who get 6 members, who get 10 members, who get 100 members, who get 200 members. It's just a waste of energy, dotishness, stupidity, who should go out and vote, who shouldn't vote, go out and vote, guys. Go out and vote. All of you, go out and vote. Now, I want to play this song. Come on, let's welcome everybody on board. This song has a good meaning, and those of you who understand it know exactly what it means. And I want to dedicate it to all of our folks, my friends, and so forth out at Port Morant, Blackbush Polder, Tain, Mybe Curie, Albion, Hampshire, Williamsburg, and so forth out in the quarantine. Man report to Luziknan and all the folks there. Good evening to you guys. We'll play it for just a minute, then we'll get back with our show.
So get up off those seats and join us as we say Happy Father's Day.
पापा कहती है बड़ा नाम करेगा बेटा हमारा ऐसा काम करेगा मगर ये तो कोई न जाने ये मेरे मंजिल है कहाँ पापा कहती है बड़ा नाम करेगा सब यारे अपनी सबकी दिलों में अरमाए हैं देखी है मिलती सब यारे अपनी सबकी दिलों में अरमाए हैं वो जिंदगी में तो क्या बनेगा हर एक नजर था सपनाए हैं कोई इंजीनियर का काम करेगा बिजनेस में कोई अपना नाम करेगा मगर ये तो कोई न जाने ये मेरे मंजिल है कहाँ पापा कहती है बड़ा नाम करेगा.
All right, welcome back. We have started our campaign right here on 107.1 FM, and we don't have to pay anybody. No fried rice, no pulori money, no puri money, no cook-up money, no plantain chips money. We don't have to pay that. We are genuine about what we do. And so our campaigning, and I say our campaigning because I have absolutely no apologies to say that 107.1 FM will be campaigning in every every township against the PPP. And we're asking folks, PNC APNU supporters to go out overwhelmingly and vote for that party because we have not identified any independent party or group that can stand up and challenge the PPP. None of them. And so we hope and we want members of the PNC to go out and do just that. And now this song, Papa Ketere Badanamu Karega, Beta Hamada, Aisakamu Karega, it means that in this life, the only person who knows my destiny is my father. Papa Ketere Badanamu Karega, Beta Hamada, Aisakamu Karega, Magadeyeto Kohi Najane, He made a manzil. Pandit, good evening to you, sir. Sorry
Hi,
for that.
hi, Mark. Good evening. Good
I
evening.
got a little carried away with my Hindi there. I was trying to show off with my audience that look, this song from the movie Kayama Se Kayama Kat. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's a very meaningful song, a lovely movie, and it's basically saying the only person who knows my destiny is my father. Papa Kitare Baranamu Karega, Beta Hamada Haisakamu Karega, Magadiyeto Kohina Jane. You're laughing, you're smiling. Is that one of your favorite movies?
I never look at it though.
Come on, you got to watch that movie with Amir Khan. Papa Kitare Baranamu Karega, Beta Hamara Haisakamu Karega, Magadiyeto Kohina Jane. I'm sure you understand the words, don't you?
Yes, yes. It's. I think it's a child is saying that similar thing that our father is her knows her destiny. In the
Absolutely.
Indian
Absolutely.
tradition, fathers with great role
Were,
in
were I
Thailand.
were I in Guyana, I would have been that would have been my top tune at every campaign stop. I want to go to Port Morant, my old stomping ground. I got some lovely friends there at Port Morant. I want to go to Blackbush Pool, and I would have been on the stage singing all of these songs from Kayama Se Kayamaka to Silsila to Lawaris, all those old movies. You're younger than I am, so let me not bring up those old movies for you, man. But I know you know the one Silsila though with
Yes,
Amitabh.
I know Silsila. Yeah,
You
right.
must know Silsila with the Pagwating Longai La Chica ba? Longai La Chica. Hey, right.
Yeah, yeah. Rango Bajasi, Amitabh Bachchan.
Everybody say, oh yeah. Pandit, good night. Honorable Mayor, also, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, I just actually just came in. I had a shower and then I saw your message and I said, "Look, let me. I know I promised you to join, so I'm
Yeah,
here."
you did promise, and I appreciate that you've kept your word. You kept your promise. Thank you so much. How have you been?
I'm trying. I am trying. Looking at the political dynamics in our country, the switchovers and all these things, but I believe we have to stay focused and enlighten the people out there on certain issues. And local government election is wrongly carnal, and it's something that we have to sensitize the public about. Many people don't understand what is local government election. They think that you just go and vote for a party or a candidate, but local government election is actually one of the main elections in our country to deal with development in our neighborhood democratic council or municipalities and so forth. So there are a lot of work need to be done politically especially in my party, politically. So there is work to do.
Lots of work to be done indeed. The Honorable Mayor, Pandit Ubraj Narain, will not be contesting. And as you know, you don't contest directly for the mayorship, but he will not be in this local government race, even as a councillor. As you guys know, what happens in Guyana, once the majority of seats are won by a particular party, they sit around a horseshoe table and they select a mayor. Pandit Ubraj Narain, the Honorable Mayor of Georgetown, will not be contesting at all. Any particular reason why, sir, you wouldn't be contesting?
Look, Mark, I have given it my best shot, 5 years, and tonight, um, a gentleman called me, and he called me my personal um, issues here dealing with for me. And he said, Mayor, how you're able to um, make the council progress within this 5 year. We didn't see protests for salary. People was paid their salary, NIS being paid, credit union, garbage contract over 200 million Ghana dollars I took over in debt and garbage collection. Today is, I can proudly say, zero. Um, we passed numerous policies, get into the HRM department. But there, I want to be very fair tonight. There are a lot of work need to be done at the council level. I couldn't do it in 5 years. There are a lot of work need to be done. There are a lot of consultancy need to be hired to do these works. Because as mayor, one, I don't get a salary. Second, I don't get advisors or a consultant to consult on issues. I have to be a one-man show in terms of lending my ears to different professionals to gather their views and then put it together and carry it to council. So these are things, the mayor role in the city of Georgetown, our capital of our country, the laws need to be changed. And I don't see it will be changed. It didn't change in the then government, neither this government. Like, they don't have any kind of uh, morality to change those laws, to modernize it, so that people can elect their own mayors and so forth. So I am saying that the hub of Georgetown has a lot of potential, Mark and viewers. Georgetown has a lot of potential, but as long you have a government, which is a PPPC government, they're not supporting the city council. And I heard the vice president last evening on the news that city council spends money on itself. The vice president should be ashamed to make mention of those things. I had challenged the vice president on many occasions to do an audit and release the audit in the public. But he failed to acknowledge that. And I want to say to Mr. Jagdeo, who I have great respect for, I want to say to Mr. Jagdeo that stop spreading these propaganda from the 90s. We're in a different era. And I'm saying tonight, go and do an audit and put it out there in the public. I can speak on my time between 2019 to date.
Absolutely. Well said. Mayor of Georgetown, Pandit Obraj Narain, is with us this evening. I'm not sure that he's going to want to do an audit now, not prior to your time at all, because he's going to open up a big ant's nest there, because we see a big ants is already over with him. Get where I'm coming
But
from.
beside of that too, Mark,
Yes,
beside
sir.
of that, if the vice president has any credibility, and he really speaking of transparency and accountability, let him do an audit from 2016 to 2018.
And I'm
And the
not sure he's
same
going to want to do that.
and the same people that cross over, you will see the kind of corruption, the kind of mismanagement that took place between 2016 and 2018 of that mayorship, right? It is corrupted. I can tell you, when I took over office, the amount of vouchers that came to me that didn't signed, but check was paid out under that leadership, 2016 to 2018. It's shameful. It's a disgrace that you, as a vice president, now open your arms and ready to welcome certain individuals in your party just because you're looking for support. Therefore, the vice president himself don't have transparency and accountability.
Absolutely. We can't depend. The people already know that, Honorable Mayor, because if he had that, he would have been asking. He already said that he wants to be investigated as it pertains to allegations made by Sue. Thus far, nothing. He seems to be running and hiding from that investigation. But talk to the people, Honorable Mayor, about the millions of dollars that central government owes the local government, particularly City Hall, where you are in control as the mayor, and the central government is refusing to pay the money. And by virtue of that, they're spiting the people of Georgetown. They have been spiting the people of Georgetown for all these years. Talk to us about that. How much money they owe right now?
I will break it down for the people, and I have no apology to make mention of these things tonight. I believe it's overbearing, and Mr. Jagdeo cannot label the city council in that manner. GPL owes the council over 10 billion Guyana dollars currently, while the council owes GPL 3 billion. Are you there, Mark?
No, no, no. I'm listening to you. Wait a minute. 3 billion GPL owes the taxpayers of Georgetown. 3
No,
billion.
GPL owes the city council 10 billion,
Yeah,
while city
GPL.
council
Mhm.
owes GPL 3 billion.
So you guys are hearing this right. GPL is a government agency, and that government agency controlled by central government owes the city hall, the people of Georgetown, $10 billion. The city of Georgetown owes GPL 3 billion. Let's do the math. 7 billion in all. Let them deduct the 3 billion and let them pay the city the 7 billion. Do you know what $7 billion can do for the city? Continue, Honorable Mayor.
The
Continue.
next one, GWI. I don't have the figure with me with GWI. GWI owe the city as well, while the city owe GWI. And these things can be easily set off. Easily set off. You have the Guyana fishery, which come under the Ministry of Agriculture, owes closely to over $700 billion in taxes. Now, people may wonder to know why we never took actions to gain this money. There was action that took in Hamilton Green time and nothing come out of it. But even the government now comply and doing the rightful thing by honoring the taxes, right? So if we to get all those money, the city council will slap central government in the face many times, because we will able to do the development within the city. We will able to do much more for the residents. We will be able to work more with the private sector commission, and everybody will be comfortable. But the government, the PPP government, especially the PPP government, looking at all angles to cut the limbs, to cut the arms of the Georgetown municipality, just because the municipality is headed by opposition council.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Mayor. $10 billion GPL owes the council in Georgetown. $10 billion.
$10 billion.
How long now have they that money accumulated? How long?
Since GPL was GE something, I can't recall.
So they don't pay. GPL has this energy. They have the energy to go out and cut off people's electricity for $1,000 or $2,000. They have that. They go out and they cut off poor people's electricity for $2,000, $1,000, $3,000. But the big so-called business people owe millions of dollars, but they dare not go to cut those people off. $10 billion. No, no,
$10
no, no,
million.
no, no. No.
I met with GPL many times, and you have a CEO there who cares nothing, right? Who cares nothing? I wrote letters after letters. I met with them several times. Let us do something. GPL don't even pay for put the post on the council carpet.
You know,
So
Mr. Mayor, I know you've been very aggressive in fighting for the residents of Georgetown, but I'm not going to, and this is no disrespect, I'm not going to sit there and allow no company to owe no $10 billion and then continue to put electrical posts on the parapet that is owned by the city of Georgetown. It can't happen. Something has to be done to get that money, $10 billion. You know what that would do for lighting, cleaning, drainage, and all these things in Georgetown? No, man. Continue, Mr. Mayor.
It will help us a lot. So I am saying this to you, Mark, and the viewers out there, that the PPP is not an innocent administration. The Ali-led government is a government of deception to the people of this country. And we must understand these little things has a lot to do with our development. The only thing you keep hearing from the president, that echo many times on the vice president, development, strategies, that what we're going to use. But if you're not empowering your own people, you're not empowering your own people, how you will have development, human development in your country, right? But the PPP think that the Guyanese people will continue to be stupid. And the way that the vice president want to manipulate the public, I want him to do an audit in the council
He's not going to do that.
and release the audit in the public.
We want him to.
I challenged Soku which day. Soku, I learned on iNews, said that they come in to investigate the council. And I did a release from the mayor's office. And I said to Soku, I welcome Soku.
But
But
they
I
have
don't want
do they, Mr. Mayor, do they have the authority to go in and audit or to investigate an agency unless a crime has been reported? I don't think so. So
No, they don't have, but it's
Yeah.
political gimmicks.
Yeah.
So I said to Soku, they didn't inform me, I've learned it from the news. Come and investigate the council. I welcome you as mayor. Come and investigate the council and investigate each departments, because people must understand that the administration of the council is not, the council did not place them there. It placed by the local government commission, which the government has control over. So you have a town clerk who is controlled by the government. You have an engineer who is controlled by the government. You have a salaries director who is controlled by government. Because when the minister call one of them, and the minister say, well, you have to jump here, they will have to jump there. They cannot say no.
You know, Mr. Mayor, that has been a problem.
That is a huge problem. Now, that is a huge and a major problem of our local democracy. So it's like you have an elected council, but you don't have any kind of power.
You know, that is because the laws that govern the city, which I believe, correct me, is chapter 2301.
2801.
2801. It's so antiquated. It's been around for donkey years and it has not changed. And this is what I've been arguing for many years, over 20 years now, that it needs to be modernized, where the people of, let's say, Georgetown would have that opportunity to elect their own mayor. The mayor, in that sense, would become the chief executive officer, just like in
That's right.
The chief executive officer of the city. But you have a mayor that is basically there just to run around, do a little thing, and no disrespect. You don't get a salary, you just get a stipend and that's about it. And then the town clerk is appointed by the central government. The city
Exactly.
engineer is appointed. So what is there for the mayor to do? It has to change. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, you wanted to say something else about that
No,
before. Go
no,
ahead.
I was going to say, so
Yes, sir.
you have these appointees by the government, which they stifle the council. You have the local government commission who interfere in with the finance of the council. So when Mr. Jack they want to speak, he have to speak on facts, and I can challenge him.
You can't speak on facts.
I can challenge Mr. Jack Day on these issues,
But
on why these the contradiction of the laws. You have 75 in the Article 75 of the Constitution give the municipality autonomy, not semi. There must be autonomous. While 78A said that Parliament shall create a local government commission to deal with staff regulations. He never said to hire, fire, discipline, but the act that emanate from 78A of the Constitution has something differently. And that is what I challenge in court. It is now at the Court of Appeal. And I would, whether deem it office or not, I will take it straight to the CCG.
absolutely. Mayor of Georgetown, Pandit Ubraj Narayan is my guest this evening. I've noticed there's a comment Soku needs to be investigated. Of course, Soku needs to be investigated. I heard that the head of Soku, Karim Baksh, who is a very controversial figure, alleged to have shot off a 14-year-old boy's leg early 2001, 2000, or 2002. That young man, Montgomery Griffith, has not recovered since then, has a whole host of psychological issues as a result of that shooting. Karim Baksh now has a son who is at the police training college there in at Adventure Village under quarantine. We are being told that individual, we are being told by a source, mind you, that Karim Baksh's son doesn't listen to anyone. He doesn't want to undergo the training, very disrespectful. And so he left the training. All eyes now on that young Karim Baksh to see whether he will graduate as a police officer in a couple of months' time. And if he does graduate, well, something is really, really fishy there. So I agree with Ms. Booker that Soku itself needs to be investigated. Mr. Mayor, I would like for you to comment on this because under the PPP stewardship for the 23 years, this is how the Garden City looked. This is how the Rippontier Cemetery, as you would recall, it was called Mandela Dump Site and all manner of things. But when the APNU AFC got into office, this is how the city looked. And with your stewardship as well, this is how the city continues to look. Kudos to you, kudos to the APNU AFC administration there at the city level. How afraid are you that Georgetown will return to this sort of filthy state in the PPP, if the PPP were to gain control?
Marx, this Georgetown is in that state currently, and I will say it is lack of resources. If you don't have money, you cannot function properly. And government and the people must understand clearly that government by law ought to give the city a subvention closer to $700 to $800 million a year, according to the Fiscal and Transfer Act 7307, Section 7 of that act stipulated what must come to Georgetown City Council. The government failed to honor such commitment by law. And if you don't have that resources, there is nothing me as mayor or anyone can do. We will go and make policies and try to strategize differently to get the work done, but it will only last for a period. Money, something that needed for maintenance and to keep the city in that tidy state. The reason why central government can able to do much more within the city and around our country, and this is where my Guyanese brothers and sisters, they're lacking of knowledge. The government has different various base which they garner revenue from. One of the major base is GRA, taxes. You have different fines, and there are other different windows where revenue is piloting to central government from. So we must understand all of these things. We cannot label the city or any other municipality or blame them wrongfully. Government has to give us money. Money is the issue. I always say there's 4M that the city need: money, material, management, and manpower.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Mayor. The PPP doesn't pay their rates and taxes. They owe City Hall millions upon millions of dollars. We have seen the evidence that they have been stifling the cities, the tongues, whether it's Georgetown, whether it's New Amsterdam, whether it's Linden, and so forth. Even Corriverton, it's in a very shanty tongue-looking state. Rose Hall is in a mess. I'm sure you heard that the mayor of Corriverton has resigned. The mayor of Rose Hall does nothing at all. Rose Hall is in a mess. Look at what's happening. But yet they want to control Georgetown or other municipalities. Why do you suppose they are so thirsty in terms of gaining control of Georgetown?
I will tell you this. You know why they want to control the city of Georgetown? And I keep saying this over and over. We, the citizen of Georgetown, should never allow the PPP to control the city of Georgetown. We should never allow that. And I will give you reasons. One, if the PPP controlled the city of Georgetown, they will right now want to take over the city properties. The city properties, to give it their friends and cronies. Because I had moved in a transparent manner to lease one of our building, and one of the minister called me and said, look, this building must go to certain individual. And I said to him, that cannot happen. The person must fulfill the requirement. The person must able to bid in the right manner that the council agreed upon. The minister, I don't know what happened or what took place, but we happened to get a letter from the Minister of Local Government stating that, instructing the clerk of council, which is the town clerk, not to sign any lease and not to move forward with the committee. And the clerk...
One second, Mr. Mayor.
The clerk...
One second, please, Honorable Mayor. I don't mean to interject at all. But this is disturbing. A property that belongs to the city. The minister, I assume, probably local government, I don't know, you haven't said so, called you directly to ask you to sell the property to a particular...
Not to sell, to lease.
To lease?
To lease.
That is why the PPP should never be able to gain control of Georgetown. Continue, Mr. Mayor. Continue.
And the Minister of Local Government sent a letter to the clerk instructing her not to move ahead with any lease and not to move ahead with the opening of tender to lease that property on Water Street. That is the wharf. We have a next property, a prime property in Bel Air, which is stagnated because people within the PPP government wanted this property. It's a prime property. There are few other properties.
A property with a huge land space?
That's right,
Yeah, they've been
right?
after that. They've been after that for a while.
For years.
Yeah.
And I stood up and said that will not happen under my leadership. It will not, Mark. I will stand very firm on those matters. And because I rejected these things, I have been chastised by the PPP government. But I don't care. I never asked the PPP for anything. The only thing I had right the government, which I believe is my entitlement, was for a concession for a vehicle.
Why, Mr. Mayor, you're the mayor of Georgetown. They got people who are not Guyanese, who don't live there but come there, make hundreds of millions, and they are granted concessions worth hundreds of millions on the backs of taxpayers of that country. You, as the mayor, the sitting mayor of the capital city, got to write and beg for duty-free concession. We had
I
just recently, sorry, Mr. Mayor, some quote unquote big business people bring in some fancy Lamborghini or Ferrari or whatever, didn't pay their fair share of taxes, all because of some question mark migrant and all these manner of things. And you, as a sitting mayor, got to write to these lagu bagus in office and beg them for duty-free concession. Mr. Mayor, continue, please.
I didn't beg Mark, but
No, no,
I
no.
think is my entitlement. I
When I
wrote
say beg, yeah, go ahead.
I wrote and everything to the Minister of Local Government and copied to the President. To date, I never get a response. I don't interested whether they give it to me or not.
Probably because you're not giving up the prime properties to their friends and their cronies. You're a humbug for that. So that's why they want to gain control of Georgetown so that they can steal all of the properties belonging to the people.
Look, there are many things, and you have the poor vendors in the street, single mother, single father, who are struggling for a daily life. They have children. Don't you think if we had a government for the people, those people should be off the street and have a proper environment to sell their their produce, do their trade, some kind of grant to give to them to boost them. So all of these things we must take in consideration. You have oil and gas industry now, the sector oil, that where the vice president make mention many times. And this again is for our Guyanese people to listen. Ask the president, ask the vice president. 3 years now, they're getting revenue from the oil sector. What had gone to the city? What was given to the city? What was given? What percentage was given to the city from this natural resource we have? Nothing. Nothing has given to the city.
All they give to their friends and their cronies. This is why it's important that you guys go out and vote and to ensure that the PPP doesn't get anywhere close to controlling the capital city of Guyana, Georgetown or Linden. We are hearing this is coming from the mayor himself, is saying that this is what has happened. A minister called to ask for a property belonging to the city to be leased to one of their cronies, one of their friends. The mayor stood his ground and said, no, congratulations on that, Mr. Mayor. Again, remind our folks how much the central government owes the city of Georgetown. How much?
Agencies, $10 billion GPL owes, government owes over 1 billion in total. GWI, Guyana Fishery, owes as well, which come under the Minister of Agriculture. And there are lists, there's a list go on where taxes are being owed by government to the city council. And if you owe the city, how can we function? Where would we get money? The last valuation had done since 1996. So you have high rising building still paying $6,000 a year, $10,000 a year taxes. That cannot run the city. People must understand that it's a different era, and the VP trying to persuade and trying to blame game. He trying to manipulate the minds of people, but people out there, you need to understand what is politics, who is a politician. A politician can be defined in many ways. He can be honest, working for the people, and he can be working for himself. The PP always work for themselves, their cronies, friends, and family.
Well said, Mr. Mayor. 3 minutes after 10 o'clock, Mark Benchop here on 107.1 FM. We're talking local government elections. The mayor will not be contesting for a councillor seat again, and by virtue of that, he will be demitting the office as mayor of Georgetown. He has done an excellent job. It has been a bit of a rough road, but nevertheless, he walks away with A plus. He walks away with an A plus for his dedication and his commitment. Mr. Mayor, let's touch on the private sector commission. All of them have gotten hundreds of millions of dollars in concessions. They don't have to write a letter asking for duty free and thing. It is granted to all of the private sector commission folks, their friends, their cronies, their concubines, everyone. What about those rates and taxes owed by these guys who love to call themselves or describe themselves as honorable business people?
Well, the private sector owed the city council $33 million.
The private sector alone, but some of its members.
Owed the city council $33 million. I don't believe it's a crime, right? To make mention of these things, I engage with the private sector. The private sector is a good body. Let me tell you something. You have to work with the private sector. You have to work with the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce. If you don't work with them, you're in serious problem. But the truth must be told. The private sector called for my resignation. The private sector did certain things to me. But look, I deem those things as political direction, right? The private sector.
Did they call for your resignation after they wrote you a letter asking for waiving the 24
Yes.
million? Talk
Yes.
about that. Yeah.
So the private sector, I believe, get a new chairman today. And I want personally congratulate the chairman and
Mr.
team.
Prasad, is it?
I think it's Mr. Komal Singh.
Kamal Singh, yeah.
I know him very well. I believe he will do a tremendous, a very good job. I want to congratulate the entire team. Private sector is necessary. Is necessary to work with the private sector. I want to give them a special thanks for all the support and all the what they had done in my tenure. The GCCI, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce as well. I work with this guy, Nicholas Boyer, who was the president of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, and I always make mention of it. Was a very good president. He helped us a lot at the level of the city council. But $33 million, yes, the private sector itself owed the city council, and that we are addressing it at the level of the council as well. You see,
It is
the
good that those
VP.
guys are there, but
The
I'm glad that they have a new leadership there by Mr. Komal Singh. And I don't know Mr. Komal Singh personally, but I wish him the very best. And I will be watching how he operates. But I'm glad that they have new leadership. His immediate predecessor is basically a party hack.
Yeah, I don't believe in that guy, man.
That guy,
I don't believe in him at all.
he's also the chairman of the board for Guy Oil. Massive skullduggery allegations of
I
skullduggery.
believe he's the chairman for NISL too.
Chairman for I thought the chairman for NISL is Mr. Sharma,
Mr. Sharma is the CEO.
the CEO. Okay, good, thank you. But that guy sucks. I'm glad that he's gone. What's his name again? He's not even. That guy was a horrible political hack. But if they were decent, they would have been able to pay the city the $33 million.
Well,
Instead of that, they called for your resignation.
the city can do well with the $33 million at this point of time, right? But the council has to address that. But these things should be told to the public. You know why? You can't get the VP going and chastise the current council, because the VP protect these entity. It become political armed, right? And where you have private sector and the GCCI covering for government, it should never be. Those bodies should be neutral. call the mayor out, call the government out, call the opposition out. Be there for justice for the Guyanese people, right? But these bodies continue to take sides, and that should not be. When you're speaking of a democracy, there are different forms of democracy, Mark, and we have to understand the level of politics the PP always played in this country. I heard the VP spoke on CIA when Burnham went on CIA, some payroll and so on. History will tell you, if the Guyanese people go and read what this gentleman is normally saying to the public and people buy it and believe. We must go and read and do research. The CIA was brought here by Dr. Chetty Jagan. Dr. Chetty Jagan and Janet Jagan had a very close relationship with the CIA in Washington. Read the history of these things, and you will find what is the CIA. It's an entity that assists any political party in terms of develop national policy for the country and other policies. So when Jack Dale make reference, Burnham went to the CIA, he was drawing money from. Research these things, go in depth. Don't buy what this gentleman is saying. He's a great politician, He know to persuade people. I can't persuade a man like me, because I will go and do the research and I will have an answer to give him. And I am not stepping on his big toe. I respect him a lot. I have great respect for Jack Dew. But as politicians, we need to be truthful to the people out there. If you're representing the people, if you're representing development of the people of this country, if you're representing from region 1 to region 10, and not to discriminate in your policy of government. This is leadership I'm speaking of, and this is leadership we need to have in the opposition as well.
Mr. Mayor, well said. I agree with you on that also, almost everything. Being in the pockets of the CIA is not a criminal act. It's not a crime. But what is a crime, though? And this is not to say that Burnham was or whoever was or whatever, but it's just not a crime. Even if some folks, maybe one or two folks right next to Jack Day might be in the pockets too. But what is of importance, and what we have to look out, is being in the pockets of drug lords and money launderers and gold smugglers. Jack Day seemed to have an affection for these sort of people, the Sioux and so forth and so on. That is what we want to hear about. Jack Deere being in the pockets of those guys, allegations that he is in the pockets of those guys.
If you can give me 5 minutes, let me define some things for you.
Sure, Mr. Mayor. Go ahead, sir.
One, they said, I don't know if Sioux is a Guyanese. Well, I can tell you, I got a copy. I have a copy of Sioux passport, Guyanese passport. Right? This was leaked. Just so look, Mark, we have to understand the dynamic of leadership, whether you're in government or opposition. You have to understand that people look up at you. And the same way when the now vice president was the then leader of the opposition, he used to get information from people. I got information too, right? I got information too. Sue has a Guyanese passport. How come you don't know that? Right? We allow Sue matter to go under the bridge. We didn't really pay attention to Sue matter, but Sue matter is a very important matter. But I don't want to touch on that. That is not for me. That is the VP and the Sue and the court and the police. They have to deal with that. That is not my cup of tea. There is a minister, 2 ministers I know of, that putting up huge apartments building in this country. They associate themselves with contractors. The stationaries buy from the relative company. They actually they have a company getting contract from the own ministry, which is in relative names. So when you're speaking on these things, and I know of these things, but I wouldn't come out and say it out there. It's just like how they want to paint me, I can paint them.
And so these sitting ministers who are having building these apartment complex, is it in their names and they have applied
No,
for?
it's not in their name,
uh,
relative name. No
Yeah,
minister will put anything in him. And and like me, the one minister said, "Oh, he has so much land, and he have been fraud the housing that he get the next land from housing." If you can remember that, I want to said one thing tonight. I wish if they had launched an investigation in that, and these are issues Soku should have done, man. Where if you said the mayor fraud the ministry to get a land, let me take you back to Pradoville 1 and 2. Those ministers had properties, many properties, but still able to obtain lands in Pradoville and Pradoville 1 and 2. How it happened? You open a whole can of worm for your own party, right? So they don't think
and
how these ministers gain land in Pradoville 1 and 2 when they had many property in their names. I didn't beg for the land, I can take it back and Alto. Give me back my money and take back the land. I applied since 2013 for this land. And I was given. And I pay. And the same very minister who accused me signed all those documents. Sorry, he didn't sign. The current CEO signed those documents. But it didn't capture the date of those letters. All happened in 2022. I have copy of it. I can show the public. I didn't go public with it because I find it petty. You're using the ministry document to attack a next politician. That show you're weak as a politician. Attack me on something different. Don't attack me on using government resources and government issue to attack me. That is my entitlement as a Guyanese. Every Guyanese entitled for land, whether that person, I believe, have property before he buy it privately or what. I believe he entitled of a land from government.
well, the
So
guys who are
these,
coming in to do business, they're getting thousands or hundreds upon hundreds of acres of
man,
land.
you have companies here who get in 35,000 acre land in Letem. You have who getting 15,000 on Co Ogle Road. Same companies. What happened there? And a simple Guyanese who trying to make a living has to go through a set of red tapes to get land. You know what I'm saying? Give out land. I will happy for get a land, yes. But again, we Guyanese not thinking. I will get the land. Can I bill on the land? When I will bill? Where would I get the money from? The same very people now have to turn back and sell the land. Look at these houses. What a shame.
Mr.
So
Mayor,
there's many things to make mention of, Mark. Many
lots of
things.
lots of things indeed, and that is why the people in Georgetown.
And
Go ahead.
I have nothing against any of my Guyanese. We need to work together. The PPP government is there. The president is there. We need to work together, be mature politician, put aside political differences, and work in the interests of the people, both oppositions and government. And I believe that the city should stay in the control of the APNU. There are many reasons. I give a few tonight.
Sure.
I give a few. So I want to encourage the residents of Georgetown to go out on the 12th of June and vote APNU at the top and at the bottom for your candidate APNU as well to regain the seats of Georgetown City Council.
I do believe that the symbol is the palm, right? So they will be able to see APNU PNC. So there wouldn't
Yeah.
be any mistake there at all. Mr. Mayor, again, you will vacate a seat when a new mayor is selected. And the importance of regaining Georgetown, because if Georgetown gets in the hands of the PPP, they will sell Georgetown out to everyone. Every one of their friends, they will sell all of the property, the land, every single thing. They will probably sell City Hall now. That's how,
You never
that,
know, because if you can recall, the PP had want to sold Kitty Market.
they wanted to sell the kitty market there to a private. If they take control of City Hall, they're going to sell out. They're going to take all the prime properties for themselves. If they
They
gain
wanted
control
to
of Linden,
sell
then
out Kitty Market, I believe,
yeah, that's
right?
exactly what they want to do. But thank you, Mr. Mayor, for standing up and being strong for the people of Georgetown. It's a pity that you wouldn't be running as a councillor again, so that you could either remain as a councillor or as a mayor again. But you have served for the 5 years there.
Mark, I'm willing to lend my support whoever be the mayor. I'm willing to give them advice. I'm willing to help them in policy drafting and so on. I can able to help out in my own little way. I love the city. The city is a great place. It's a powerful place for development, but we need finance. We need the rightful money that belongs to us by law to given to us by government, and we will be able to do better if we have the resources. So the government need to understand that people is not that stupid anymore. People are wise, and people analyze things differently. Local government election, national elections, people analyze things differently.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I know you'll be back before you demit office. You will be back on the show, 107.1 FM, and to urge folks to go out there and vote for APNU on June 12th to regain the townships, the capital city, Georgetown, Linden, New Amsterdam, and so forth. We will have special programs right here on 107.1. Call it the local government elections watch. We will have that. We will invite all of the candidates, those who want to come on and talk about what it is that they can do for the city or for their constituency. Sorry. We want to be able to hear from them, because these individuals have to be visionaries. Not anybody you just pick up and put them in the council. They got to work for their constituency. Mr. Mayor, before we go though, I know they're trying to divide up the markings of Georgetown and change up boundaries and so forth. Can you touch on a little bit of that before you go, sir?
Well, you see, I can't able to say whether the PVP had done that in the city of Georgetown. I know they had done it in other local authorities, other area. The reason why they will do that, and the why they're gonna do that is because they want to gain certain votes in certain areas. So you have different. They want to draw different boundary and so forth to define different things to allocate seats at the level of the city council or the NDC or other municipalities. But those things are not healthy for democracy. Those things should be done in consultation or with consultation of the people. The people, they have a great role to play. The people power is what matter. Is not the seat of the mayor, is not seat of the president, is not seat of the opposition, but the people who have to determine those kind of boundaries. Not the government alone, not GCOM neither alone. consultation is necessary if you're speaking of a democracy.
Well
I
said.
also like to touch on one thing that I wish not to really dive into because of time.
Sure.
I have paid keen attention to GCOM recently, and I believe the GCOM is heavy staffed with PPP spies. And there are a lot of people I knew who are affiliated with the People Progressive Party who works at GCOM, and those things need to be addressed. And the chair of GCOM need to act with some kind of morality, integrity, and respect. I never call her out, but I have taken note of her voting pattern. I'm not saying to vote with the opposition or vote for the government side, but explanation needed when you cast a vote, whether with the opposition side or the government side. And those explanation is not given by the chair of GCOM. So GCOM chair need to come clean and clear because history will hold her accountable. History will hold her heavily on her actions that she is doing at GCOM. So the chair of GCOM need to get a grip of herself and start make some comment in the public domain so that people will know the reason why you voted in favor, whether for the government or the opposition. So the chair is acting, I will describe it very, very loose when it comes to GCOM matters.
Sorry about that. Cause for concerns indeed. Elections must go on. Folks must go out and vote. Vote overwhelmingly for the APNU PNC. Go out there and vote. We are not seeing any other credible independent party, so to speak, that I'm aware of. And so the battle is between the PPP and the APNU PNC. I know that the APNU PNC, their members will go out, and those who are on the fence go out and vote for the APNU AFC. Well, not the AFC, but the APNU PNC. And those PPP supporters who are complaining, there are thousands of them who are complaining about the PPP not governing properly, go out and vote against the PPP. That is what we will be campaigning on here, 107.1 FM. Mr. Mayor, we thank you so much for your time. Before you demit office, you will return back here. The people want to send their love and appreciation for you for what you have done. We do know that it has been a bumpy road, but you're a tough cookie. You stand, the Buxtonians stop train, but this mayor will go down in history as stopping truck, stopping vehicle.
Yes,
Thank you.
I thank you, Mark. Thank all the viewers. Thanks to all the people who supported me. I want to give thank you to the government who make my life miserable at the office of the mayor. Was no easy task. That make me a strong politician, and I want also to thank my staff at the level of the city council. The vendors, they come and they cry every God day. It is not an easy task. Thank you again to my political party, the PNCR, to all my mentors, from the past President David Granger, Joe Harman, Amna Ali, Comrade Volda Lawrence, my brother James Bond, and many names to mention. They have done a lot as well of giving me this opportunity to serve the people. And I can clearly state, and I will say it over and over, Mark, those people never call me a day and give me a direction. I run, or I take the city council in a way with, some people say that with a sledgehammer. I run city council with a sledgehammer. But I did stood up to my own councillors. I stood up to, and you can see some of them cross the line, which I have no difficulties, but they must tell people why they gone over to the PPP, where one of them only interested in contracts, spent $7 million on a play field and couldn't account it for it. In 2019, late 2019, one of the council who walked over there spent $7 million and couldn't account for the money. When questioned, was big problem. So they didn't walk over there just because they want to walk over. They walk over because they know probably the police may lock them up, especially deal with parking meter, right? Only recently, I was going through the parking meter file, and the contract that was signed by this international company and the city council never went to council. Never went to council, Mark, right? For a vote. So, and right now the arbitration going on where the company sued the state for over 100 million US dollars. So they had to switch side, probably forget coverage, right? The parking meter issue in this city, it's a huge one. It's a form of corruption, manipulation of the city, right? What they had done to the city. So they went over forget coverage, beg. But I can fairly say that I can walk with my head high. I never ask no one for nothing. I don't want nothing, and I will leave that office with my integrity and respect, and I will continue to serve my Guyanese people in whatever office they may see it fit for me, my party or the people see fit for me. I can serve them. I will willingly serve them at that level. But let me tell you, parking meter, I wish if you can hold a next interview like this, I will probably walk with the file and I will go through it with you, where the parking meter deal was a corrupt manipulation deal for self-interest.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll have a show the next time to talk about that. And in fact, I know all about the parking meter contract as well. It's sad that those who signed the contract without any authorization by the council, and today, some of those very people walked over in the bosom of the PPP, possibly expecting to be charged and so forth. But we find that a lot of people who are running over in bed with the PPP were either charged or about to be charged. So read between
Them
the
have to
lines.
get saved.
Absolutely, they don't want to be placed on
And
the
that's
card.
why I finally I said I
Real
call
boss.
it on the vice president. I'm calling again on the vice president. The Honorable Dr. Bara Jagdev, go and audit the city council. Go and audit it, sir, and
Before
show
he
the
does
audit
that, I want him to
to the
audit
public.
himself. I want him
Let
to
him do
audit
it.
himself, Mr. Mayor.
Let him do it.
Mr.
I
Mayor,
want him to do it.
don't be a stranger. Do return. We want to hear from you before you demit office. You will be back with us again. The campaign has started. We want those people on the ground in Georgetown, in Linden, in New Amsterdam, Rosal, Riverton to be energized. Get out and vote. Don't listen to anybody who tell you, anyone who tells you not to go out and vote. Voting is it's your right, your constitutional right. Unless they give you a good cause as to not to vote, then we can understand that. But to just jump on a mountaintop and yell out, don't vote, don't vote, don't vote, it makes absolutely no sense. Who vex. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate your time, sir.
Have a good night, Mark. Have a good night, everyone.
Give
God
my
bless.
regards to your family, sir. Thank you and be safe.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, the mayor of Georgetown there, he will demit office as soon as a new mayor is selected. And as you all know, that the mayor is actually selected in all of the township. In the capital city of Georgetown, the mayor is selected. In Linden, the same. And so you guys have to encourage your friends and family members to go out and vote against the PPP. Again, vote against the PPP. I repeat, vote against the PPP. You heard from the mayor, his worship, Obraj Narain, Pandit Upnath Obraj Narain, the mayor of Georgetown, that they basically, he got a call from a minister demanding that a property that belongs to the city to be leased to a friend or a crony of the PPP. Just imagine what will happen if you guys in the city allow them to get control of Georgetown or even Linden or even New Amsterdam and so forth. It has to be the other way around. The opposition got to take control of Rosal. Rosal is in a mess. Got to take control of Corriverton. Corriverton is in a mess. The mayor of Corriverton has resigned. It's a helter-skelter. It's a bunch of corruption that's happening in Rosal, in Corriverton, and so forth. And the opposition has to take control of those townships and regain control of Georgetown, Linden, Bartica, New Amsterdam, and so forth with visionaries. Don't just install somebody or select somebody there as a mayor just for the sake of having a mayor. We got to be able to stand up against these corrupt individuals in the PPP and to transform the city as well and to demand a fair share of taxes owed to the city. The government is very, very vindictive. That is why, folks, got to, with all the energy that we have right here on 107.1 FM, we want folks to go out and vote against the PPP, including PPP supporters who are unhappy with what they're doing. Go out and vote against the PPP. God bless you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Possibly we'll have a show in the morning as well, but we're out of here. So long.
चादर बिछाओ भलमा चौधरिया चादर बिछाओ भलमा रिंद रगे चल सोई रहना रिंद रगे चल सोई रहना
चादर बिछाओ भलमा चौधरिया चादर बिछाओ भलमा रिंग लगी चाल सोए रहना रिंग लगी चाल सोए रहना
बिछाओ भलमा चौधरिया चादर बिछाओ भलमा रिंद लगे चल सोई रहना रिंद लगे चल सोई रहना
चादर बिछाओ भलमा चौधरिया चादर बिछाओ भलमा रिंग लगी चाल सोए रहना रिंग लगी चाल सोए रहना
मोरे ससुर जी की डुई डुई महलियां
मोरे ससुर जी की डुई डुई महलियां सबसे सुंदर हमारा महिला चौधरिया चादर बिछाओ भलमा रिंग लगे चल सोए रहना रिंग लगे चल सोए रहना
हमरे ससुर जी की डुई डुई पलंगियां
अम्बे से सूरज के तोई तोई पलहिया सबसे सुंदर हमारो पलंगा चौधरिया चादर बिछाओ पलमा निगल के चल सोए रहना निगल के चल सोए रहना हमरे ससुर जी की दुई दुई पतंगवा हमरे ससुर जी की दुई दुई पतंगवा सबसे सुंदर हमारो बलमा चौधरिया चादर बिछाओ बलमा निगल के चल सोए रहना.
This is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Guyana really nice. Guyana, it's a nice place. Guyana really nice. Guyana, it's a nice place.
Source. Maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you, or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jerome?
So.
Guyana really nice. Guyana, it's a nice place. Guyana really nice. Guyana, it's a nice place. Guyana really nice. Guyana, it's a nice place.